Hello and welcome to Real Food. Today I'm joined by some special guests from Dominican Village. I'd like to welcome Executive Chef Rich CATAPANO, CEO Paul Wasser, and Executive Vice President Sister MAUREEN MUIR. Welcome everybody. Glad you're here today.
Thank you.
It's good to be with you guys again and to have Dominican Village be a part of this great cooking program and part of our community and everything else. So it's really terrific.
Thank you for having us, Mike.
Now, how many years has it been around? That's like a baited question. Go ahead. Let us know.
25 years.
Congratulations. That's
yes,
wonderful.
25 years.
Imagine that, 25 years.
Yes.
And I remember when it was opening. I do remember.
You know.
92.
Yeah.
Yeah.
92.
We are having a 25th anniversary party, I'd like to call it, at Crestalo, early 2018.
That's wonderful.
So, yeah.
And then the place, just for people who don't know, explain what Dominican Village is.
Dominican Village is an independent and assisted living community. Right now, currently we can house 160 residents, full occupancy, which we are just about full occupancy right now. But what's really nice is the focus is to age in place, person-centered care. Those kinds of things are what allow us to provide the quality services that we provide for our residents and allow the residents that type of quality experience.
How long have you been there, Rich?
I've been there 3 years now.
3 years you've been there. And that's one of the things they talk about all the time at Dominican Village is that the food is fantastic.
Thank you.
So, I mean, that's something that, like, you all different kinds of culinary offerings, right? You offer, first of all, you have, of course, there's special needs diets, right? And you take care of all of that.
Right.
But then you have these other nights, like, I would see all these things up on the wall. You walk through the hallways, there's these different things, like, luau night and these kind, and you do all these different kinds of food too?
That's correct, yes. Once a month we like to have a theme night.
It's wonderful. Now, what you're making today, is it going to be something you would make also?
Yes, this is currently on our melting pot menu. And it's going to be sous vide salmon with a Mediterranean farro and couscous salad.
Wow.
With a roasted yellow bell pepper sauce.
So, I mean, you're stretching culinary kind of taste here. I mean, like, a lot of people come in there. I mean, they would never do this unless they go to a restaurant. So it's kind of like restaurant dining when you live there, right?
That's correct, yes, sir.
I mean, you're sitting at a table and you're ordering your meal and your meal is served to you, right? And people eat in a restaurant setting pretty much, right?
Yeah, that's correct, yeah. And we have new technology that allows the waiters to take the order with iPads right at the table.
Wow.
And we have their special request or whatever they like. We know ahead of time. It's right on the tablet.
Isn't that great?
Yep.
That's wonderful. Well, why don't we get going? What we got to get going to get started?
Sure. So I have, right here I have wild salmon.
Looks beautiful.
I prefer wild salmon over the farm-raised salmon.
Sure.
It's got better flavor. Now we have, we're going to season this with some fresh pepper and salt.
Now, this is probably pretty popular too, right?
Oh, this is one of the most popular dishes, yes. They love salmon.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah. All our fresh fish we have there. Generous. Now, when you season, remember, season high so that it spreads evenly.
That's the idea, right? So it doesn't
Yes.
get all concentrated in one area.
That's correct.
Now, I know also another thing, too, Sister MAUREEN, people can eat, obviously, in the dining room, but there are some people who choose maybe to eat, they can eat outside, you can eat in your room, too, I guess, because there's just, a lot of the rooms have, like, a dining area in them as well, right?
That's correct. We obviously encourage communal dining, but people certainly have the right to say, I'd like to take my meal back to my room and have it in the comfort of their own apartment.
Well, I'm thinking, yeah, like, the baseball game's on. Gee, I really want to watch
right.
the Yankees tonight. And you could have your dinner and watch the Yankee game, basically,
That's
right?
right. And we have that beautiful patio outside with the little fish pond.
Yeah,
A lot
that's
of people like to
beautiful.
go out there to dine as
That's
well.
wonderful,
We have
too.
outside dining occasionally out there.
So there's sometimes an opportunity to eat outside, too, right? You could do a whole big thing outside, too, for
Yes.
people, right?
During the summer, we have outdoor dining, which we have a big barbecue for every independent section. And then also we have my special menu that I have outside, which every other week the residents sign up for. And they go outside as well during the summer and eat outside. So there's many different dining options that they have.
That's really great. That's great. So you did a little salt and pepper. You put a little lemon on top, right?
Yep.
And now you have, what is
Now
this?
we have
a little mint?
No, this is fresh dill.
So dill.
Yes.
I'm looking at this stuff down here.
Yeah, that's menu. So fresh dill, we put that right on there.
That looks great.
And then we have some shallots right here, fresh shallots.
Now, are you kind of doing some of the shopping for the food too, Rich? Like you're looking around, make sure you get the freshest ingredients? and all
That's
that stuff?
correct, yes.
And do you try to get local stuff if you can?
Always, yes. Yep.
Because interestingly enough, like on the property, sort of, like down at the other side, there's a big community garden.
That's right.
Which I'm a member of that community garden, too. They have tremendous stuff there. And I see
Yes.
some of the sisters are down there sometimes picking up on a Saturday when I'm down there and
it.
everything.
That's right.
So that's pretty good.
So now we season the salmon. We have the lemon, the fresh dill, and the shallots. And we're going to put it right here in the Ziploc bag. This
Now,
will
talk
suck
about the method, how you're cooking it, because this is like a very unique method. And it's, by the way, hot and new. This is like one of the latest culinary trends that's going on. This is like Manhattan dining.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to put the salmon in here. And you got to make sure that it's flat against the bag. You want to make sure that no air is left in the bag.
So you kind of squeeze out most of the air, right?
Correct, yes.
Now, there's an obvious reason for that, because it would be floating, and you don't want it to float. You want it to cook. You want it to go into the water, right?
Exactly. Now, when this cooks in the sous vide machine, it's going to keep all the moisture and the flavor from the salmon right in here.
It's amazing.
And it's so healthy. You're not using any fats or anything like
I think
that.
of poached. Like when you poach something, it sucks out all of the nutrients. It sucks out all of the taste. This is amazing how this is.
Okay.
So now, how long do you have to cook that?
That cooks for about 45 minutes.
So it goes for a while. It takes
Yes.
its time, and it really
Slow,
goes.
Yeah, slow cooking. That keeps everything moist and keeps the flavor within.
All right,
in
well,
there.
while it's going, Paul, let me ask you this. I know you've been doing a lot of work over at Dominican Village. As a matter of fact, the last time I was there, I was walking, I noticed like all new hallways. I mean, new rugs and new paint. And
everything.
I mean, it looks brand spanking new over there.
You know, given the fact that it's 25 years old, it was time. It was
that
time
interesting?
it was time for a little updo,
Wow,
Monsignor.
wow,
Yeah.
good.
We did all new lighting, LED, new carpeting. Just what we're trying to do is, once again, we've got a waiting list now. We had it before. Now with all these renovations, it's the residents are just going to appreciate it
it's
so
so
much,
inviting.
that much more.
So now, how are we doing here? How
Good.
far along are we, Rich?
So now what we're doing is we're making the salad right here.
Okay.
So we have couscous.
Now, couscous, for those who don't know,
Couscous is a grain. Okay, it cooks very fast, about 5 to 7 minutes.
yeah, it goes really quick.
Yeah, very healthy. You just
It
boil
kind of
water.
imitates macaroni a little bit.
Yes.
In my mind, a lot of things imitate macaroni. That's the only way I can live. So that's the only way I can kind of function. So.
And then we have farro, which is a great source of protein. And this is also,
Another hot ingredient.
a hot ingredient
All
that's
over the
going
place,
on.
we see
right.
these. Yeah, farro's a
That's
big. I remember the first time I ever saw that used, Lydia Bastianich was using it, and I said, farro. I thought that was birdseed. And actually, birds do eat that,
Yep.
but we do too, and it's delicious.
That's right.
And then we have obviously, you have walnuts, you have dried cranberries.
That's correct. We have fresh mint from our garden, which we were talking about earlier. This is straight from the Dominican Village garden that I have. So what we're going to do now is we are cooking the farro. The farro takes about 15 to 20 minutes to cook, so it's been going for a while now. Okay. Then you got
Like I would liken farro a little bit like to barley. You know, it's sort of that kind of thing, right?
Right,
But
exactly.
it's kind of sticky in its own way, right?
That's right.
And it's delicious too, by the way. So you have couscous ready to go
Right.
here.
Yep.
Now, again,
Couscous in.
if you're Italian at home, if this doesn't look like pastina, I don't know what does.
That's right.
That's what we call that at home.
Yep.
So that's good.
Couscous. Okay.
And do you find that, like, again, this is like a requested one. People really like this. Like, how do you tune up your menu?
Yeah, we tune up the menu by listening to the residents.
You do, yeah.
Yeah, we like to listen to them, see what they like. I go around at night, talk to them, talk to each table, and getting their needs, I customize the menu to what they like.
Yeah.
They like to eat healthy, and they want something that tastes good.
Like, what do you do about, like, you know, these people who come and they always make their own meatballs? Like, you make meatballs and they say, my meatballs have more basil. Like, do you do that kind of
Well,
thing?
what I do now is I get their recipe, and we actually
Wow.
put it on the menu. Just recently, I had a recipe from one of our residents named Lena for her meatloaf.
Wow.
And she was so happy that I used her recipe, and I put out a pamphlet that these are Lena's meatballs.
Ah, wasn't that great?
Yeah,
Isn't that
and,
beautiful? That's wonderful.
They love it. So
Yeah,
it
that's
feels
really
like,
good.
you know, they're still having a piece of home with them.
Yeah, that's true. And that's a good thing. That's an important thing.
Yeah. So now we have some cranberries, dried cranberries.
Dried cranberries going in
Okay.
there. And being that it's hot, it's going to cook them just a little bit, loosen them up a little bit, right?
That's correct, yes. Some walnuts.
Some walnuts go in there.
Let's break that up.
And breaking them up helps too to release the oil, which is good.
I was just going to say, Monsignor, I can eat that right there.
Yeah, that would be perfect for me too. That'd be perfect for me too. I'm almost ready right now. It's always hard in this show not to jump right in and eat before it's done. Yeah. Be honest with you.
So now we have a fresh mint. Now remember, when you're using fresh herbs at home, you don't want to cut them too often, because you just want to cut them once or twice. This way they maximize as much flavor as possible.
Really? And you can smell it from here.
Yeah.
That just, boom, it just popped right out. You know, something I always mention when you're on that's important to me is this is also Dominican Village is where our retired priests live. And I think there's something amazing about that because there was a time when retiring as a priest, now I'm getting closer and closer to that, so you start to think about this. Guys would say, oh, anything but having to retire and have to, but now, because of where they live, it's such a place that is, it's a dignified place, it's a beautiful place, it's a place of prayer, and all of the priests who are watching now, you know how much we all love you and we're grateful for your service. All right, look, what we're going to do is take a quick break and we'll be back with more real food. This is going to get done. We're going to eat eventually, I promise you. Stick around. Welcome back to Real Food, everybody. Joining me today from Dominican Village is Executive Chef Rich CATAPANO and CEO Paul Wasser and Executive Vice President System Maureen MUIR. Now, we had a great first recipe here. Here's the salmon with this beautiful couscous. Now, how do you finish this off? What exactly did you do, first of all, Rich, to finish it?
Okay, after we took it out from the sous vide machine, I dried it, took it out of the pouch, dried it, and then we sauteed it in a little olive oil to get a nice crisp on the outside. Then we added the farro to that, a little lemon zest, fresh lemon juice, extra virgin olive oil.
Wow.
And we mixed it all together with the couscous and the farro. So you have all the vegetables and the grains together now.
Now this is super fresh. I mean, you just made this just now. I just saw you making it. So you're roasting peppers, and then you blended them down, and what else did you do?
A little olive oil, salt, pepper, and a little bit of vegetable base.
Wow.
And so we have the roasted yellow red pepper sauce. We like to present it to the guest when we do it at Dominican Village. Just a little on the outside, on the bottom over here. See? And just strip that over like that. And that's a nice fresh
That doesn't
salmon.
That doesn't look like poison. That looks pretty good to me. I could go to town on this right now, but I can't, unfortunately. Looks delicious, though. Really, that's a beautiful dish. I can see why it's so popular. You know.
Yeah.
Now, what are you going to make now? What's the next thing? I see you got some chicken here. So.
Yes, we have French breast chicken.
Okay.
So
now, French cut is what? Just explain what that is for everybody.
you have the leg that's sticking out right here, the
Yep.
bone. So that's what the French cut is. It's the leg and the thigh, but you take out the bone piece right there and you leave the breast.
So there's a lot to eat on this because that's what's nice about this. It's
Correct.
like, and they used to serve this used to be called first class chicken because they used to serve this in airplanes all the time. It was a first class meal.
Yes.
But this is how the rich people ate, you know?
That's
so
right.
that's what we're doing.
That's another name for it. That's
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
So we're going to stuff this with some fresh gala apples, portobello mushrooms, fresh spinach, and then we have our mirepoix, which is celery, onions, and carrots diced.
Okay.
Okay?
So do you have to saute all of this stuff to get it going? What do you do?
Yes, we're going to saute all the fillings right here. Okay? But first, I want to just season the chicken breast.
Now, what do you do when you season up your stuff? Do you use a lot of different seasonings or?
No, I use what's called fiend herbs, which is tarragon, thyme, and parsley, fresh.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's fiend herbs.
Interesting.
So we're going to rub some garlic, whole garlic, right on the outside of this.
And that's what's interesting. That's an interesting way to do it because for people who don't like garlic, it's a way you can do that, right?
Right.
You know, I'm not a gigantic garlic guy myself. I don't like cloves of garlic in food, but the taste of garlic I like. So.
Yeah, exactly. Then we're going to put a little bit of salt, pepper.
So a little salt and pepper on there. I would imagine chicken would be a really popular dish at Dominican Village, huh? I mean, most people, I think, that's my #1 meat. It would be chicken.
Pretty
Well,
basic.
you know, the research, when you look into all the communities that are out there, is that over the past, I would say, 15 years, there was a lot of fried food. And the consensus is by the residents was that they really don't want that. They don't want it completely off the menu.
Sure.
But they also don't want to be inundated with fried food because of the health issues.
Oh, of course. And
that
it's
are
heavy,
involved.
too, for people.
Yeah.
And I guess as we age, we need less to get filled up, too, right?
Yes.
So not eating the same volume of food we used to. I see it with my dad. He eats much less than he used to eat.
Right.
But he still likes good food, you know?
And interestingly enough, the portions are so hearty. And they're hearty, first of all, because we want to make sure we're providing the residents with enough to certainly keep them satisfied.
Sure.
But also, the Department of Health has requirements.
Wow.
And the residents will often come to me and say, well, why are you giving us so much? We can't eat all this. Sometimes it's a requirement.
Isn't that interesting?
By the Department of Health
Wow.
to provide a certain amount of ounces of this and a certain amount of protein in
Sure.
peanut butter even.
Isn't that something?
So it's amazing. Yes.
That's good.
The other thing is, too, chef usually puts 2 or 3 main entrees on the menu per night, so they have a choice.
Which is great.
But if any of those are not to their liking, they also have some basics: baked chicken, hamburger, cold cut sandwich, or egg salad. So they have
So
a
the
lot
things
of
you can,
options.
and again, great. The food, I got to say, I've eaten there a number of times. Great food, though. Really great food.
It's
Because of things like this. Because it's not just industrial. Here, eat this, and that's it.
Right.
This is food that's delicious and has flavor, and it's thought through, right?
That's correct. One of the things that Mr. Wasser always tells us about is presentation, preparation, and customer service.
So true.
So with our preparation, we always get the freshest ingredients. We check it as soon as it comes in. If it has any blemish or anything, we send it back. So we have a reputation with our vendors knowing that if you're going to give me that something that's substandard, we won't accept it.
Sure,
We
sure.
only want the best ingredients with our preparation.
But think about it, Rich. That's the same thing if you go to a restaurant. You want those same 3 things.
Exactly.
If you go to a good restaurant, right? I mean, that's what I want when I go to a restaurant. So
That's right.
I should expect that too
That's right.
at a residence where I'm staying
right.
for the rest of my life, right?
And if you would take a survey, we have 160 residents, and if you were to take 260 residents, if you were to take a survey and say what's the most important thing in that community to them, it is mealtime.
Without a doubt.
And that is because we all know that it's not just the food, it's a social experience.
Of course, yeah.
It's the environment and everything else. And that's why we put so much emphasis
Oh, it's definitely worth it, right?
into the dining room and into our food.
Now, while we're watching him do all of this, talk a little bit about the future, because the future,
Yeah.
you got some great plans. I'm excited about the future for Dominican
It's
Village. I really am.
it's very exciting, Monsignor. We're looking, we've just started the discussions on putting another facility on the premises, on the grounds. We're looking to put about 125 unit community on the premises, which is going to emphasize memory care.
Wow.
And more assisted living apartments, just bigger apartments.
Now,
And-
memory care is a big deal now, right?
Well,
I mean,
the bottom line is 1 in 3 are going to have issues with Alzheimer's or dementia, and we again want to provide that continuum. That if a resident does acquire dementia or memory issues, that they have a place to go without leaving the community. They're still home.
That's nice. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
No, that's a good thing. All right, so how are we doing here? We're moving along
Yeah,
to
we're
we're
stuffing our
stuffing
bird
already.
right
Oh, my
now.
Lord. I was distracted. I apologize.
No problem.
I was distracted and excited. So the mirepoix went in there. The apples went in there. Little garlic, some fresh spinach went in there.
Portobello mushrooms.
Portobello mushrooms.
Okay.
And now you're stuffing this beautiful airloin chicken breast or French cut chicken breast.
That's correct.
And that's going in.
And you're going to stuff it right underneath the skin over here. You want to leave the skin on.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And skin on is good because I always think skin on is like having a little like natural Reynolds wrap, right? Because it sort of
Exactly.
insulates the chicken and kind of lets it remain
And it holds
moist,
the
right?
stuffing, yep.
Yeah, God was thinking good when he made that.
So what you want to do now is you want to put it onto your pan. Use a cast iron pan right here.
Okay.
Okay. And we're going to roast this in the oven for about 30 to 35 minutes.
Okay.
We'll start with the lower oven for the first about 20 minutes, and then turn it up towards the end so that we get the outside nice and crispy.
Great. Yeah, that sounds delicious.
Yep.
All right, why don't you stick it in there? We'll take a little break, and when we get back, oh boy, more chicken. We're with Dominican Village. The whole family's here. Stick around. Welcome back to Real Food, everybody. Wow, we have really moved along. The chicken has kind of come out of the oven now, and that baked off just beautifully. It smells so great in here. Now, what's going on? You got some polenta, which made me feel like my grandmother was here.
Right. We got a rosemary pecorino romano polenta cake.
That's wonderful. So
Yeah.
now, is polenta popular back at the? I mean, I would imagine. I love polenta. You guys, do you like polenta?
Yes.
Yes.
I love polenta. I like it soft, and I like it like a cake like that too.
Yeah, we have a lot of Italians that love polenta over there.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And it's a good dish. It's soft. It's delicious.
Yeah.
I season it with fresh herbs and and Parmesan Reggiano cheese. So they like-
Everything's good with Parmigiano Reggiano cheese anyway.
That's for sure.
And then broccoli, talk a little bit about broccolini, because you're using not broccoli raw, but broccolini.
Right.
So give us a little background to that, Rich.
Broccolini is similar to broccoli rabe, but it's a little less bitter, and it's a thinner stalk than the broccoli rabe.
And I'm
It's in the
guessing it's a
family.
high iron vegetable, right?
That's correct. High iron. There's a lot of vitamin nutrients in there.
And you're doing it in such a way that a lot of those nutrients will remain. You're not boiling it to death.
Correct. Yep.
So the idea is just a little saute, right?
Yeah.
And the
wanna-
polenta cakes, I mean, what's great about polenta, this is actually polenta, everybody. So it's kind of like cornmeal, you know? And when you cook it, there's quick polenta and then there's the regular polenta. I got a feeling this is regular polenta, right?
Right.
So this is like 20, 25 minutes to cook, but and it takes a lot of stirring and everything. And it's sort of like if you ever watched The Little Rascals, it's mush. That's basically what it is. You just keep stirring and stirring and stirring, but eventually it takes on this beautiful consistency when it's all cooked. And then it kind of becomes like kind of like a white canvas.
Right.
Because that's where you can put your rosemary in, you can put cheese in here, you can put anything you like.
Right.
And it takes on such a great flavor, right?
Right. And then you can form it into whatever you like to form it with. Let
Yeah.
it cool a little bit, and then you cut it into whatever shape you want.
Sure, but it actually kind of solids up a little bit, and you keep it in a loaf pan, and you can slice it like that if you want, and fry it, whatever you want to do,
Right.
right? It's terrific. I have to say, you guys chose great recipes. I don't know who chose the recipes today, but this is like Manhattan-style eating. It's what we're doing today at Dominican Village, which is awesome.
Thank you.
I like that. So you can see how the broccolini begins to cook down just a little bit, right?
Yep. And we're going to add just a pinch of red pepper flakes.
I like that too, yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of spice, right?
Yep.
And you find some of the residents like spicy food, I bet you, right?
Yeah. It's a little spicy, not too overly spicy, but a little spicy. Yep.
Yeah.
Especially with the broccoli rabe. The old timers, they like a little bit of red pepper flakes.
That's true. That's the way
Yep.
all the grandmas made it for so many years, right?
Yeah.
I grew up on broccoli rabe like that too,
Right.
right? In the same house, same kind of thing. So now the polenta is just about there, right? You just
Yep.
about got the color on there you're looking for,
Yeah.
which is nice. Now, is this the kind of thing you would serve, at a fancy dinner, or this is something that's available on the menu?
This is something that's available on the menu
Wow.
with the French breast chicken
Wow,
and the polenta cakes. Yes, it's part of our 4-week menu cycle that we have.
isn't that great?
Yep.
And you said like the residents get involved in that 4-week cycle, right? They actually can offer some feedback, et cetera, et cetera?
Yes, we're catering to their wants and needs, whatever they like, and then I try to introduce them to something new by putting it on a special at night, and then see how the feedback goes for the special, whether the majority of the people like it or not.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good. You know what I didn't ask you, Rich, is your background. Like, where did you first learn how to cook?
I went to Johnson & Wales University,
Wow.
Providence, Rhode Island.
Beautiful.
I worked in a number of fine dining, hotel, and restaurants
Yeah.
in New York City.
I can tell by your ideas that you
Yep.
are. You didn't start in a diner and live in a diner.
No.
You've learned how to cook. Not that there's anything wrong with diner cooks, by the way, but this is definitely high-end kind of stylistic cooking here. Now this is the roasted chicken that was stuffed so beautifully.
So we're
That
gonna
looks
put
just great.
Right there, right on top.
And again, the look is so important, right? I mean, that it looks beautiful and tastes beautiful. That's all part of
Yes.
this, right?
Because people eat with their eyes and
Yeah.
they want to see it.
What I like about the broccolini too is it stays a vibrant green. It doesn't become like that army green. You know, it actually
Right.
Exactly.
it still looks like food. You know, which is nice.
Yeah.
And I love that.
That is
Very nice, right?
Want to let the
You know, this
garlic-
is nice with penne too. Broccolini with penne is delicious too. You know everything about macaroni. Look how nice that looks. That is beautiful.
And then we have, this is a chicken demi.
Now tell us about that. How do you make that?
Okay, so you roast the chicken bones, let them get, with the mirepoix, and then you put it in a pot of stock water, let it reduce, so 50%. And then I add a little bit of red wine and just let it reduce until it gets to a thicker consistency like this.
Wow, that takes a lot of work to do, but it's so rich, right?
Yeah, very rich,
And a
very
little bit goes a long
flavorful.
way, I bet.
And I added a little apple cider at the end too.
Wow. That's really nice. Not apple cider vinegar, just apple cider.
Apple cider, regular apple
Interesting.
cider, yep.
Wow, that's beautiful.
So I want to just pour this right on the end over here. And just
Once again, yeah. Look at that, how beautiful that looks, everybody. That's a beautiful dish. Wow, really, really nicely done.
Thank
Hey,
you.
give us the website, because you got a very interactive and great website, so people want to take a look right now.
yes, www.dominicanvillage.org.
Terrific. So,
Please feel free, come by, visit us, say
and
hello.
tours anytime, basically, right?
Tours
Just call up and let them know
anytime.
you're going to come by,
You
right?
could even walk in.
Wow, isn't that nice?
We'll show you around
That's
and
hospitality.
welcome you, and that's what it's about.
That's wonderful.
Because our slogan has always been, when you're here, you're home, and we want to keep it that way
Love it.
on
Love it.
the island.
So true. Thank you so much.
All
I'm
right,
glad
thank
were
you
here.
for having us.
Oh, I'm
Msgr.
glad to be here. Anytime,
Thank
you
you.
guys are always welcome. The door's always
All
open.
right.
Rich,
Thank you, Msgr.
I hope your door's
Thank you.
always open.
It is.
I'm coming by for
Of
some of
course.
this.
Come by anytime you would
All
like.
right, I'm
I'd love
coming
to have
by. I'm
you.
not kidding you. And we thank you for joining us today. Let's ask the Lord to bless all of our people in our lives, friends and family who are older, who need our prayers and who have given us so much. They've taught us the wisdom of life, these people, and we want to ask the Lord to bless them. So let us pray. Loving God, we ask you to bless all those who you surround us with who have lived life. We ask you to keep us mindful of them always and be grateful for their presence in our lives, that we may grow in wisdom through their example in our own lives. Bless all the people of Dominican Village who live there and work there and minister there. And Lord, help us to grow in your love as we respect those who have lived life. And we ask you to bless us now and always through Christ our Lord. Amen.
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 God bless everybody. We'll see you next time on Real Food.